This was an essay written by John Lewis shortly before he passed away on July 17th, and it was published by New York Times. While my time here has now come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you use the power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people motivated simply by human compassion laid down the burdens of division. Around the country and the world, you set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it. You must also study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching existential struggle for a very long time. People on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. The truth does not change, and that is why the answer worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenge of our time. Continue to build union between movements stretching across the globe because we must put away our willingness to profit from exploitation of others. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it's your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of 21st century, let them say that it was your generations who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. ジョン・ルイスはアメリカの公民権運動 Civil Rights Movement の指導者であり、Big Six、マーティン・ルーサー・キング・ジュニアやジェームス・ファーマーなどと呼ばれる最重要人物の一人で、1987年から今年亡くなるまで上院議員として活躍していた。I like this. I should do this more often. Like, I have more freedom now. It's the fact. It's the matter of fact. I have more freedom. So why not doing what I love more and, less of being stressed out with whatever it is. And if you're stressed out, I think there is something wrong with your focus. And when I become relaxed, I think I can I perform, I function, I think the best. So, and I can maximize my potential, my talent, being creative and all that. So I will do this more often because now I have time. If I want to do it, just do it because you got time. And if you are doing something else that makes you being stressed, I don't think it's good anyway, in any ways. So enjoy the time in this planet. Now I've got more time. Just do it. Just enjoy it and things will come together. Things will come together and open up the door to the whole new world. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, though I was admitted to the hospital the following day. I just had to see and feel it for myself that, after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rayshard Brooks, Samuel Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison, and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by two loving parents, plenty of brothers, sisters, and cousins, their love couldn't protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside of that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store for some Skittles or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas, and choke to death the hope and dreams of gifted violinists like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in. And then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said we are all complicit when we tolerate injustice. He said it is not enough to say it will get better by and by. He said each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state. It is an act. And each generation must do its part to help build what we called the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself.
Who were not asking for special treatment, just equal treatment, promised to them a century before, and almost another century before that. And when John woke up and checked himself out of the hospital, he would make sure the world saw a movement that was, in the words of Scripture, hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. The life of John Lewis was in so many ways exceptional. It vindicated the faith in our founding, redeemed that faith. At most American of ideas, the idea that any of us, ordinary people without rank or wealth or title or fame, can somehow point out the imperfections of this nation and come together and challenge the status quo and decide that it is in our power to remake this country that we love until it more closely aligns with our highest ideals.
ミネソタ大学の、専門家っていうかミネソタ大学の、教授の、インタビューみたいな記事を読んで、とにかくこのパンデミックっていうのはもう後戻りのできないこの 新世界っていうのの突入。Okay, so I came across this article and that reminded me how, there is no way back, how, this pandemic of coronavirus changed the whole world and there is no way to turn around. So this professor from the University of Minnesota is telling us that he knew this was pandemic back in January, and unfortunately there's no way to push the button to turn back to the old world, which means even vaccine would not work 100%. So there's, when finally the vaccine comes out, it's not gonna be turning the light bulbs on or off. Only probably 50% or 70% of the time the vaccine works, meaning only 50% of population are protected by the vaccine, meaning other 50% of population of this planet will still exposed to the risk of the coronavirus, the severe symptom and ultimate death. Our appearance of human beings will change. I think the mask will be part of our fashion from now on. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be next year. We're not gonna wearing mask. We're gonna be wearing mask forever. And probably the new type of mask, maybe more fashionable or more convenient mask will come out in the market, but we're gonna wear mask for long time period. And this professor says this pandemic will continue and we're gonna struggle with or face with and live with this pandemic coronavirus for decades. So basically we're gonna keep wearing masks, maintaining social distance, practicing for decades. What do we do about it? I guess the best way. Hello, how are you? So the best way to deal with it is to face with this pandemic coronavirus and adapt ourselves. What? Man, it's hot and I'm craving Coke. I want to drink Coke. Can you believe it? I haven't drunk.